I am absolutely going to testify. I won't even say his name. He is an evil being and is going to pay.
It started with a single post, just a few words from one of the world's biggest pop stars. And within minutes, the courtroom atmosphere shifted from tense to downright explosive. Justin Bieber, once seen as a protege of Sean Diddy Combs, had just turned on him in the most public way possible. In the middle of a high-stakes trial that already had the industry watching, Bieber dropped a bomb on Instagram. A confession. A warning. A moment of clarity, years in the making.
I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on.
Diddy had entered the courtroom that morning like a man in control, flashing designer labels, flanked by a top-tier legal team, his usual swagger fully intact. But when he saw that post, the mask cracked. Witnesses say his hands trembled. His eyes locked on his phone screen, refreshing obsessively, and then silence. The kind of silence you feel before something breaks. He knew what was coming, and still, he wasn't ready. Long before the courtroom drama, there was a different kind of spotlight. Diddy was the kingmaker, the untouchable mogul who seemed to have a hand in every major moment in music. Cassie, she was his muse, his girlfriend, and his artist, though not always in that order. Their relationship, plastered across red carpets and interviews, looked glamorous on the surface. But those who paid attention could see the tension underneath. Then there was Bieber, young, impressionable, and introduced to fame through the same circles. He was the new kid in a room full of powerful men, and Diddy took him under his wing. At least, that's how it looked to the public. Behind the scenes, things weren't so simple. Industry whispers suggested Diddy's influence extended far beyond mentorship. He didn't just guide careers.
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful...
Bieber turned 15, and it suddenly seemed that Hollywood was keen to almost initiate him. I think that's the right word. Like there was almost like this initiation that he needed to go through. So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie The Times of Their Lives? Where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full.
Young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun. Now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did. The allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher. As we are going through these lawsuits and Diddy is in prison, we are recognizing that everybody knew. This was an open secret about what Diddy was doing. So it just begs question, who allowed Justin Bieber to be in the presence of this man, knowing what he was up to?
He controlled people. And Bieber, he saw more than anyone realized. He just never said anything. Until now. When Bieber finally spoke, he didn't hold back. His post wasn't vague or diplomatic. It was direct, personal, and deeply unsettling.
Do you think the person that you of then was on a path of self-destruction?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%, yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark, so I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully, but yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted
He described moments he'd witnessed firsthand, how Diddy would speak over Cassie during interviews, how he seemed to dominate conversations even when cameras were rolling. But the part that hit hardest was the story of an after-party. Bieber recalled Diddy grabbing Cassie's arm, roughly, possessively, in a way that stuck with him for years. He admitted he stayed quiet at the time, caught between loyalty and discomfort, but he couldn't stay silent anymore. "I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner," he wrote. The post included a throwback photo. Him and Cassie smiling at a music event. A normal moment until you looked closer. Cassie's smile in that photo now looked strained, forced. It wasn't just a post, it was a confession, and it set the entire courtroom on fire.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
The courtroom response was instant. Phones buzzed, heads turned, even the judge paused as whispers spread through the gallery. But the most dramatic reaction came from Diddy himself. He stared at his phone like it had betrayed him. His hands shook, his jaw clenched. And then, out of nowhere, he snapped. He stood up suddenly, knocking over his chair, and shouted across the courtroom, "After everything I did for that kid, loyalty means nothing anymore."
48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
16.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Josh.
Okay.
Let's slow down, okay?
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours. When you get 16, you good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Man, you good?
I'm good. How are you
All right,
doing?
young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything?
Yeah,
Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you
not
ain't
really.
been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right,
My
okay.
number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
The room froze. His legal team rushed to calm him, shoving documents into his hands, trying to pull him back down. But it was too late. The judge called an emergency recess as murmurs turned to gasps. Outside, reporters scrambled to rewrite their headlines. Inside, Diddy's carefully crafted image had just collapsed in real time. And the worst part? This wasn't even the peak. The real blow was still coming. When court resumed, the energy had shifted. Diddy was visibly rattled. His swagger gone, replaced with tight, jerky movements and a clenched jaw. Cassie, on the other hand, walked back to the stand with quiet poise. She didn't flinch, didn't hesitate, and when she began to speak, the courtroom leaned in. She described years of psychological control, how Diddy would monitor her phone, decide who she could talk to, and even ban her from interacting with certain male celebrities. Justin Bieber's name was on that list. She said Diddy would sit her down before events and remind her who was off limits unless he was standing right next to her. "He told me nobody would believe me," she said, her voice steady. He said he controlled who worked in this industry and who didn't. In that moment, it became painfully clear this wasn't just a toxic relationship. It was a power play on an industrial scale. Just when it felt like the courtroom had seen the worst of it, the prosecution introduced something no one was prepared for: private text messages between Cassie and Justin Bieber dated back to 2017. The exchange was short, but heavy. Cassie told Bieber she felt like she was being watched, that every move, every word was under a microscope. Bieber responded, "This isn't normal, Cass. What he's doing isn't okay. You need to talk to someone." The words echoed through the room like a thunderclap. And Diddy? He lost it. He shot up from his seat, pointing furiously at the courtroom screens and yelling, "Those are fake. This is a setup." Jurors leaned back, visibly unsettled. One woman covered her mouth in shock. The judge slammed down the gavel and didn't hold back. "Mr. Combs, this is a court of law, not a recording studio. You do not control what happens here." She ordered a full psychiatric evaluation, revoked his phone access, and assigned armed guards to stay within reach at all times. The illusion of control was gone. And for the first time, the courtroom saw Diddy not as a mogul, but as a man unraveling.
I was coming off of being in Miami a night of party, and I don't really remember what I was saying. You know what I'm saying?
Would you like a reminder?
Yeah, sure.
Play some.
Hey, yo, listen, yo, I love it all. I love it all, man.
I like when you like this, Daddy.
Where you put my bag?
Daddy, I like when you scrambling and scraping.
No. That was you.
Scrambling.
What? You said, I like when you do it like that, Daddy. When you scrambling and scraping.
Hey.
I don't know what I was talking about.
Hey. Nah. I mean, I was
You don't
caught,
go back and look at that stuff and laugh?
I mean, it could be funny. I don't really be on it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we've become friends in a strange way. You know?
Like Robin Big.
Yeah. It's like exactly.
I'm big and you're Robin.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's. I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, you know, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person besides his talent. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever.
By the time the court adjourned that day, everything had changed. Diddy didn't walk out of the building. He slumped, his shoulders hung low, his expression blank, the once flashy aura replaced by something hollow. Reporters described him as visibly shaken, a stark contrast to the confident powerhouse who had strutted into the courtroom just hours earlier. Cameras outside captured the moment he stepped into his black SUV, avoiding eye contact, surrounded by guards. It wasn't just a legal battle anymore, it was a public reckoning. And while Diddy tried to disappear into the tinted glass, Cassie remained in full view. Quiet, composed, but different. No longer the controlled figure beside a powerful man. She was standing on her own now, and the world was watching. Bieber's post had cracked the surface, but Cassie's truth, that's what really brought it down. What started as a personal lawsuit quickly spiraled into something much bigger, a potential turning point for the entire music industry. Cassie's testimony, paired with Bieber's public support, opened the door for others. Whispers began turning into statements. More voices hinted they'd seen things too. And suddenly, Diddy wasn't just one man on trial. He was a symbol of the old system, the kind that operated in shadows, where control, fear, and silence kept reputations untouchable.
And let's talk about the fact that Combs' co-defendant in a civil case, a case, by the way, that accuses him and this co-defendant, another A-lister, of rape. This guy is once again slamming the attorney behind the case, insisting that he be sanctioned for allegedly not doing his job. We're talking, of course, about Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, once again calling out attorney Tony Busby, calling out his character, more specifically into question, claiming that the Texas attorney's filings have, quote, substantial. Now, we've talked about this before, but basically, a civil lawsuit was filed against Sean Combs on behalf of a Jane Doe who says that she was raped by Combs and another celebrity at a home after the Video Music Awards in 2000.
Now, those shadows were being lit up. The trial started drawing comparisons to the early days of the #MeToo movement, with headlines speculating on who might speak out next. It wasn't just about one mogul falling, it was about whether the industry was finally ready to confront the way power really works behind the scenes. And if so, Diddy's trial might just be the spark that lights it all up. So, what do we make of it all? A music icon's reputation shattered. A former protege finally breaks his silence. A woman who'd spent years being silenced, now standing at the center of a moment that could change everything. Diddy walked into that courtroom believing he was still untouchable. But by the time Cassie and Bieber were done, he wasn't just fighting a lawsuit. He was fighting to hold on to the last threads of an empire built on fear and silence. A pop star spoke, a mogul fell, and an industry trembled. The only question now is, who's next? Let us know what you think in the comments. What do you think? Was Bieber's post the beginning of the end for Diddy, or just the tip of the iceberg? Drop your thoughts below, because this story is far from over. And if you want to stay ahead of what's coming next, make sure to subscribe.